I biked for 60 minutes a day for the past 2 months straight to realize this one big lesson. I promise that after this video, you will know what is it like it. So every cardio activity, how does it look like? How does it feel like? And what are the benefits, the pros and also the cons that comes with it? I promise that your life will always be different, and what you will see here today, what you can never unseen it. The way that I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna tell you the story, I'm gonna give you the biggest lessons and plot twists, and also I'm gonna give you the secrets. So I started biking about 3 years ago. I bought my own bike. I was doing a lot of e-commerce at the time, and you know what? Instead of doing the delivery with my friend's father's bike, I should buy one myself and actually do the delivery. I was doing it at the time all the time, right? I was going out of school at 12 and go do the delivery, and sometimes even come back to school late because the delivery was too far. So I did have a lot of experience with biking, to the point that I even traveled with a bike. Yes, I did that twice. And one of them, I actually traveled 60 kilometers to another city, which the road was actually like this, about 45 degrees, and it's hard even for motorcycle to go there, and I just did that with a bike. I did also another one for 7 hours straight, biking through the mountains to get to one cave that I wanted to go with my friend. So all of these experiences always and actually presented themselves in the past 2 months that I biked 60 minutes for every single day. So I'm going to tell you a funny story, okay? The story that actually changed everything. So for a long period of my life, I didn't have a bike, okay? So I got into e-commerce, and I had to deliver stuff pretty fast. I don't have any means to do it, so my actually no-brainer, I asked my friend to give me his bike. It was not his bike, it was his father's bike. And the point that got me to actually buy my bike was not only that, but because one day I went with the bike and I got stranded. I got stranded in an area where there is almost no one, okay? Because the guy was way too far and he wanted the delivery. And I got stranded and the bike just exploded. So you see the rope between the pedal and the actual wheel just exploded in half. So I can't fix it because one of them got broken. And dude, it was like I pretty much think that it's midday, 100% midday, and it was hot day. And I was like, dude, this sucks. So I walked a few miles away and I found out someone who fixes bikes. Couldn't fix it. I went to another one. So it took a lot of, 2 hours probably to fix the bike and also go back home. And it was also another big way. And that's when I understood that, look, of course my friend understood that because the bike was not in good condition. I fixed it and I made it good. But also understood that if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it my own. And this is the first lesson, is that with bikes, it can always get stranded without any alarms. You see with vehicles, with cars and etc., there is the mileage, there is a lot of stuff that are put in the car, statistically proven that they are the biggest stuff that you have to take an eye on, okay? For bikes, there's no such thing. So there's 2 wheels and a pedal, that's it. And you have to, drive. But sometimes, as an example, this year I was going to college, it was already late. And the bike just stopped biking at the middle of the road. And, I had 1 or 2 kilometers away from the college, as well as it was already late. So I had to carry the bike, okay, and then put the bike in hospital, just put it, make sure that it's secure, and continue the run to the college. Thank God I got in time, but the thing is, sometimes you don't have that privilege. It also happened to me just 2 weeks ago with a brand deal that I was doing. So I had this brand deal. He gave me a deadline. He said, you know what, you have 3-4 hours. You have to give me, you have to get back to me, show me the video. I said like, oh, okay, let's do that. I was already late because I wanted to over deliver. I sort of did add a little bit of effects on the video, and I knew he would like it, but costed me time. When I got into my bike, so I go there, the bike was literally, the wheel, there was a hole in it that was not shown. You can't see it, but you cannot bike with it. And I was like, dude, you know what? And I just went there running, right? And it's not like I have a problem with running. It's just like it comes with its own stress because, dude, you have to run and you're going to convince someone to pay you for the video you just made. So you have to negotiate and you just rain away, like rain for I don't know how many minutes. You see, like it's not the optimal. But you see, for me, I'm used to this. I have good running abilities. I am good with cardio. I have great stamina and I have great breathing abilities. So even that I ran away, like good. I come there and like nothing happened, you know? And that's why I really performed very good. But the thing is, if for someone who is not used to it, and that's why I was talking to my friend the other day. He was actually walking 10,000 feet a day. Steps. I said, dude, what? It's a little bit too much, right? He said, well, that's what it is. I said, how much you weight? He's at 56 kilograms. And the guy looks like 170 centimeters or something. 56 is not good. Okay? He's pretty tall. Like not tall like me, but he's a little bit, not too short. He's a little bit shorter than me. But still, 56 is nothing. And for a guy like him, if you're 19, 20, dude, you have to take care of your health. You have to take care of your weight. You have to take care of these simple terms that will actually affect your your health on the long run, on the short term, your energy levels, everything. I told him he shouldn't do that. He said, I walked so I can get to the bus and come here. I said, why don't you buy a bike? Do you have a bike? He said, no. I said, you should buy it. He said, look, it's not only financial, but I have to convince my family, which is difficult. I gave him a great solution. I said, look, borrow a bike, just like what I did. Borrow a bike from a friend. It's a little bit tough, but you have to do it for a week. You do that, then first you will know how its biking looks like, feels like, and you literally will feel it. So you know if you actually want to make the transition or not. And two, your family will get it. If they seen you biking for 1 week, they will say, well, it's not very likely that something bad will happen to him if he actually bought a bike and was biking to college with it. And also will save him a lot of time, and it will be better than walking 10,000 steps and going into the bus, which takes him probably 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. With biking, he will get there in half an hour. So that's 1 hour plus every day, or at least every time he goes, every time he gets back. That's 2 hours. That's something that you have to make a priority. But the thing is, it's not for everyone. So here I'm going to get to the second lesson about biking is it's all about stamina. So with biking, it's not as you go to the gym. So you go to the gym, you're hitting the weights, doing the squats and everything. You feel your muscles getting literally torn down, and you have to keep going. With biking, usually you don't have that experience, at least at some level. I think before I actually had that, but I think right now my quadriceps are pretty used to it. So I don't have that as if I'm forcing my muscles to actually pedal or do whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure that it does not take so much time for you to get used to it. It's probably take 2 months, which is actually worth the trade, especially if you're spending a lot of time walking, a lot of time going on the bus, etc. And not only that, is that the research has shown that cardio exercises, so it's like biking, running, etc., will make your mental state way better, way better than, let's say, going to the gym. I know a lot of people will be, what? It's actually true. So it's related to breathing, it's related to all of these stuff, but most importantly, your heartbeat will go up. So when you are in the gym, it's hard to get your heartbeat up. Like most people don't do that. But if you run, if you bike, if you do all of these stuff, your heartbeat rate goes up, your breathing goes up. And actually, to prove this is that in my final year in high school, I was biking all the time, doing the delivery and all of that. We had an organization coming to our high school that did us a pulmonary V2 test, which is apparently the test that every athlete should take so they know how is his breathing ability looks like, which is an awesome thing. It's hard, it's difficult, okay? And actually I got first. I'm pretty sure I was the best. I was the last one standing, and it was not, there were people there that they were amongst football teams. One of them was a basketball player, one of them was going to the gym, and they were natural athletes. I still did outperform them. And just as a comparison, the year prior, just in normal long distance running, I was before last. And in that year, my athletic abilities just exploded. And part of it is actually due to that. It's due to biking, and also I would say I was running here and there. So these stuff are actually very important for you if you want to bike, or you are biking, or you stopped biking, now you're thinking if you should go back. But I think this video will not be as complete. Of course, there's whole big things that this is just the introduction that I just told you. So the biggest things that I think is the comparison between biking and other vehicles. So let's say, as an example, motorcycle and a bike. What are the differences between the two? Obviously, a motorbike is better because it's faster and it literally makes you in great conditions. So if you have something important, as an example, let's say the final exam, or I wouldn't say even the final exam, I would say that biking might be better. But I would say, let's say you have something that you have to perform. Okay, you have to make a brand deal, you have to make a business deal, you have to convince someone, or you have to make the final presentation for the essay or the research that you have made in the master or whatever degree. So in those situations, is it better to go with a motorcycle or a bike? So it depends on the distances, but I'm going to give you general knowledge here. The specified notes that you have to keep in mind is that motorbike will always be faster than the bike itself. Okay, that's good. But the one thing you have to keep in mind is that biking will also be great for your mental state than your motorbike. So if it's not some huge distance, if it's 10 minutes biking, just do that any time of the week. Don't go with the motorbike. And the reason behind it is because literally you will not lose a lot of time. So probably there will be like few minutes of differences. But on the other hand, with the bike, you will gain that you have already done something hard. So whatever situation you're going to be in, your mental state is tougher. Okay, so you are ready to fight. You are ready to do something hard because you started with doing something hard in the first place. The second thing is that your heartbeat will go up and then will go down. So your heartbeat and your heart is functioning awesome. So let's say there is some situation that happens, it's stressful. You will deal with it very better, okay? Better than almost anyone who did not bike or who took the motorbike to get there. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is that if it's not important and it's not very far away, you should take the bike. I would say that the place when you should take the motorbike, if it's long distance or it's a very big deal and long distance, because if your appearance matters a lot and it's big deal and it's long distance, let's say like half an hour, sure, take the taxi or take the motorbike and just go there. And it will save you better as well. The highest ROI will be with that. Other than that, no. Okay, so now I compared a lot of stuff. I don't want to include the car because it's just different domain, okay? And you can it's similar to the motorbike in any vehicle, but you can you can just make whatever you want. And usually a lot of people don't choose between the car and a bike as they choose between a motorbike and a bike. Now I'm going to talk about how often does it break. which is important. If you want to study with a bike, if you want to go to college with a bike, if you want to work with a bike, if you want to do delivery as I did with a bike, you have to keep in mind few stuff, which is most importantly is how is the field you're going to work in. So if your city is awesome and you are very like in New York or something, biking should be awesome. But if you are in a city where the roads are not as great, there's a lot of glass in the ground, probably biking won't be as good, because you might have a lot of trouble biking and your bike always will need to be fixed. So I found out that bikes usually tends to break down as a normal thing, just like cars do. Okay, so the more you use them, obviously they will get something will break because you did not use it the right way or simply because of overuse, right? So they have a capacity, which is awesome, like cool. I'm cool with that, but it's the ROI. On the other hand, you will save so much time, you'll be better mentally, you will, as an example for me, I save every single day. So I save in the morning. In the morning, I save 1 hour, 1 hour going, 1 hour back, 2 hours in the morning. And in the afternoon, I save about 2 minutes, about 20 minutes, 20 minutes. So how does that go? It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. So it's almost 3 hours it's almost 3 hours just saved because I used the bike. And sure, I can sweat sometimes if I'm wearing some heavy jacket, but I'm willing to take that trade. And I think with the time you do not sweat a lot. Like right now I can go to college, whatever it is, even if it's 20 minutes ride, I usually don't sweat a lot, right? And actually sweating sometimes it's actually good, especially because it releases not only the water and the electrolytes, but also it releases toxins. Most people don't know this. Toxins get released by urine and also by sweat. You release sweat, and this is why the reason why a lot of people have different sweat smells. If you eat, as an example, something that is not so healthy, okay, as an example, me, I'm gonna say Indomie, right, or noodles. I used to eat that at some point. My sweat smelled like noodles, and I knew that, and I knew because simply there's something in noodles that gives it its smell that it's not getting used by my body. So it gets out with what? It gets out with sweat. So this is something that you also have to comprehend, that sweating is also good. It's not necessarily bad. Obviously, if you're overweight, sweating is awesome. Like you will lose a lot of fat in there and it will be awesome. And it's just like there's no reason why you don't do it. If you're not as fat, okay, and if you're not obese, it's also sweating also good. You see here, there is that video that went viral of the Formula 1 driver. She says, "Oh, you really sweat?" And he says, athlete sweats. Probably, all right, that's something that, okay, so you know what I mean? Sweating is actually good. And that's why you see all of the athletes bragging about their sweating in their t-shirts. If I want to do that, I can give you t-shirts, entire sweats. Like if I give them, I remember one time I showed one t-shirt to my friend. He was shocked. He thought I was pouring water on the t-shirt. I was not. That's all sweat. But the reason why, to clarify it, I was wearing a heavy jacket because the weather was cold, which right now I don't do it. Even the weather is cold, I will take that because my body temperature will get high because I'm literally biking. Especially if I'm going to internship or whatever it is, or going to college. So the temperature there is pretty good. So I just go there and it's fine. Like my temperature will be just controlled, and always I get some extra clothing. So if I want something, I can always put it on. So what are the cons? So, okay, I've talked about different things, okay? So now you have a better idea about this, but still, I'm gonna give you something that will change everything. So what's the difference between someone who rides bike just because he likes it, it's teenagers, stuff like that, and someone who rides bike and knows how to ride bike? So the first time that I actually knew about this is when I was about to travel with a bike. I was doing all of these research to better my experience. I found that there's a lot of stuff to do. It's like biking. Instead of biking, like let's say this is the pedal, instead of pedaling like this, you have to pedal with the extreme of your feet. The reason behind it is that it's like this is your feet. You're not all just doing this, but you're doing this. You're helping. Okay, it's like you're swimming. This is a pro tip. Okay. And the reason behind it is that the calves will be working. It's not just your quadriceps, but also the calves will be working. It's awesome, okay? And this is just one thing. And that's why they say it's like if you want to build your calves, you have to bike and stuff. But I don't think so, except if you do it the correct form, which is what I just showed you. And honestly, look, for myself, I think one of the best activities that I do is actually biking. And as I promised, right now you have a great idea about how biking looks like. If you want to bike now, you have a better idea. If you start biking now, you know. Do you want to keep going or not? I gave you all of this stuff, and most of the stuff that I gave you is actually also inspired by some professional bikers that I know in my life, and they gave me also these advice that I shared with you. So you know what to do right now? Subscribe.